One of the all-time greats in Avalanche history calls it a career. So let's talk about that on a new episode of Locked On Avalanche coming at you.
You're Locked On Avalanche, your daily podcast on the Colorado Avalanche. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
All right, everybody, welcome to another episode of Locked On Avalanche, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. I'm your host, Chris Maselli, and with me, as always, Mr. Zach Pearson. If you want to get in on the conversation, join our subtext. Link is in the show notes below. Chat with Zach and I one-on-one. Get your opinion, everything Avalanche related, and share it on this very podcast. We will be hearing from these subtext people about this Erik Johnson retirement. They chimed in. The Avalanche, as we are talking again, are playing, and I think they just got scored on. They did. So it is now 1-1 in that game. We did this for yesterday's episode. We watched the first couple periods and it's preseason. We've seen enough. Same thing with this game, but it is going on, so we'll update as that third period is what happened. Did someone else score again?
No, it just now caught up for me. So clearly your stream is well ahead of mine because I was like, I looked down, I'm like, no, it's not. And then as you're talking, boom, goes in. So
well, I don't have the game on. I just have I just get notification at this point. I just get notifications on my phone. If I had that game on right now, this show would be terrible. Because my attention would be diverted the entire time. So I can't multitask like that. But I do have the app up and
that's fair. Okay.
And notifications. So yeah, I'll probably get a few notifications before it actually happens on this.
It's just too bad I can't place the bet because in my game it hasn't happened yet. So if I could run on real quick and pop that $5 bet.
That'd be great. So we'll talk about that in a little bit. What a difference day makes and a roster makes between these two games.
Oh my gosh.
With Vegas and the Avs. So we'll talk about that a little bit later. But yeah, we're going to start with Erik Johnson right now. He calls it a career. Kind of saw the writing on the wall. The only thing you really heard of the possibility of him playing this year was he said a few weeks ago he had a couple PTOs available to him. And he was just kind of weighing his options. The Avs were not one of those PTOs so the Avs were not going to bring him back. I don't want to say the writing was on the wall because if he had offers and he still wanted to play, he could have went and done that.
Yeah.
But I think in the end, been in the league for a long time. You know, it's not like you're hanging it up. This isn't I want to say Tyson Barrie, where he played a good career, a long career. This is longer than that. So you really have nothing left to give other than you just love playing the game. So I'll never tell a guy to hang it up if they still have that love. Look at Brent Burns.
Yep.
Still playing because Brent Burns was drafted 3 years before Erik Johnson. And he's still out there playing, obviously. So play as long as you want. And he said, 17 years is enough. And I'm going to, call it a career with a Stanley Cup in my pocket, which so many players just want to have at least one. And that's what he's got.
Yep. Well, like you said, EJ had a very lengthy career. It was 1,023 total games played, huge majority of those with the Avalanche. And as you kind of started it off, before we really got into anything, really an Avalanche legend at this point, just based on a fan favorite aspect more than almost anything else. I mean, that guy, but he did everything. You just have to respect how he handled everything through his career with the Avalanche and even post Avalanche. He stuck through a 48-point season. He never balked at it. He never said, I want out. He never did any of those things. He was, I believe we're going to rebuild this team, stuck with it with Landeskog. McKinnon was I think his sophomore season was the 48-point season.
McKinnon's?
So
it was early, obviously. Yeah, it could have been.
And so he stuck through with those guys who were no, we know we can build this team back. We can build it up correctly. We can build it up properly. And EJ, I think, was a huge core part of that getting to where it was, just based on his locker room presence. I think he would possibly be, from like interviews and stuff that I've heard, he might be one of the first guys to tell you, I'm not the best defenseman to ever play for the Colorado Avalanche. Even pre Cale Makar, I don't think he would try to make that claim. But that dude was an Av through and through, like just 100%,
Yeah.
and such an awesome guy from everything I've seen. I will still never get over the picture of him in the hotel bed with the Stanley Cup. It's one of my favorite.
Yeah,
And
he took
who did
himself too
that
seriously. Like,
and photoshopped it onto the NHL 23. That's
yes,
excellent. Like, huge
right.
credit. I can't remember who it was, but I'll find it and post it out because, man, that's so great.
Just a fun freewheeling guy, and knew his place all along the way, right? Like,
Mhm.
he was like early on when he was with the Avalanche, like he was he was the one on the top pairing guy. And then as the career went on, Cale Makar gets introduced. He was okay moving down the line, right?
Mhm.
He knew his role, he knew his place. He would do whatever he needed to do to help the team, including making himself available in the expansion draft to Seattle.
Yeah,
Because if you remember that, like, you could only keep
that's
what
right.
it was, like 6 forwards, 3 defensemen, or 8 skaters in a goal, like however it was,
Yeah.
and the numbers didn't match up to really be able to kind of keep him. And he was like, make me available. If they take me, they take me. If they don't, I'll come back. No grudges.
Yeah.
And that's the kind of guy he was. Like, he did what the thing that was best for the team. And when you're the number 1 overall pick
Yeah.
in a draft, so much is expected of you. That follows you around for the rest of your career. And that's a big weight. That's a
Mhm.
really big weight for a lot of players. And sometimes that weight can be a little bit too much. Did he live up to the number 1 overall pick billing? No, but that doesn't mean he had a down career. It was a
No.
different career for a number 1 pick, but it lasted as long as it did. Like, that comes into play. You say it all the time about longevity,
Yeah.
and that being a skill in and of itself. I mean, sure, like, you're not, first of all, you're a defenseman, and you're a defenseman in every sense of that phrase. He's
Yep.
not these newer defensemen. So he wasn't going to be the guy that's the number 1 overall pick that's putting up gaudy numbers, but he lasted for as long as he did. And what I loved was in the his like letter that he put out. Like,
Mhm.
you know how much this team and that city means to him, because he
Yep.
made it a point to, he thanked all the other teams he played for, but put an emphasis on the Avalanche.
Yeah, he did.
Which sometimes a lot of guys, when they play for multiple teams, will thank all of the teams that they played for kind of equally.
Mhm.
But for this, it was like, I'm thanking the other teams I played for, but giving what the Avalanche meant its own paragraph, basically.
Yeah.
So he is like, he's a legend, really, for in Colorado Avalanche world. We'll get into the next topic about if his numbers are going to get raised a little bit later. But yeah, a fan favorite, no doubt.
Through
No
and through.
doubt. Yeah.
Well, and he gave one of the best sound bites of all time on Altitude Sports Radio here, the afternoon show.
Uh-huh.
All of the time they use this drop, and it
Yeah.
is just him standing at the podium in the parade, kind of intoxicated, to say the least,
Kind
and
of.
just starts it off with Denver, and it's just the best drunken Denver ever. It's one of the greatest sound bites. So,
Yeah.
like, I mean, yeah, maybe not the number 1 overall on ice output that you would potentially expect, but I think everything else that came with Erik Johnson more than made him live up to that number 1 overall pick status,
Yeah.
in my opinion.
If you're looking over on YouTube, got his card up, his JFresh card up over his career. You see where it dips a little bit, and that's, excuse me, where things were going a little bit rough, but he picks it up. You know what I mean? In the 17, 18, 18, 19, and thereon. And then you see a little bit of a decline. And that's just towards the end of his career. That's for the war anyway.
Yep.
But those percentages are good.
Yeah.
Those are good percentages over the course of a career. So, again, we go. I don't want to get too hung up on the number one overall pick because, yeah, he carried that title. I think he carried it to the best of his ability.
100%.
And over the course of a career, it was a good, solid career. And just, the Avs have a way of getting guys who deserve it Stanley Cups.
Yeah.
They did it with Bork and
Yep.
and Erik Johnson is right up there. And you knew it. Like everyone was while that cup run was going on, it was really no question of who was going to get it first, who Gabe Landeskog was going to hand it to first.
Yep.
You knew it was going to be Erik Johnson, and that all the players were totally fine with that. Everybody loved that. And getting that moment, and those two guys are like best friends, Gabe and Erik Johnson. So it's an added bonus for him to hand it to one of his best friends. It's a great moment. It's a great moment. And that's what everybody wanted it because, this is the team you root for. But if you didn't have a rooting interest in that Stanley Cup final, you were rooting against Tampa Bay because you didn't want them to win 3 in a row. Nobody wants that. And you were rooting for guys like Erik Johnson.
100%.
Because he hasn't had it. So,
and another moment that'll just live permanently is him and McKinnon on the ice. Like just that bear hug as they hit the ice. It's one of the top moments for sure. And like you said, there was no question. Nobody had any doubt that EJ would get the cup right after Landeskog did. Just so cool to be able to witness all of that too. And again, the fact that he did everything, he stuck through, he did it all the right way. He is that humble of a guy. I mean, heck, he even had the soundbite when he came back from Philly of throw me out there with the ice crew and I'll scrape the ice in between periods. Like, that's fine. I'm cool with that if that's what you guys need.
Probably was serious in saying that too.
Yeah. I'm actually surprised that he didn't do that on like a night off where he wasn't in the lineup, where he just was like, and I mean, that would have been really cool for the rest of the ice crew too. Like, guys, sure. It's EJ with us tonight.
And that cup run, you go back to the series against St. Louis. If it wasn't for him, that last second goal by Darren Helm wouldn't have happened.
Yep.
He fought through the neutral zone to get the puck into the Avalanche offensive zone, throw what I thought was an errant pass. Maybe it still was, but it was perfectly, they get it up the ice and off the boards and Helm does just an epic moment. And he was Helm gets all the notoriety for it, which he should, because he's the one that scored the goal, which is great. But you can include Erik Johnson in that because he fought against the boards to get that puck up the ice and into the Avalanche zone. So
I think that goes with the guy that does everything right. You might think it looks like an errant pass at first, but sometimes guys get rewarded for things that even don't look quite right just because that is how they go. So, wonderful moments.
All right. Let's get a break in here. I want to hear from the subtext people because they, of course, had a lot to say about this. And when we come back, we'll ask the question, is this a foregone conclusion that number 6 is going up in the rafters at Ball Arena? So let's get a break in, and we will do that coming up next. First, we're going to hear from FanDuel because, of course, the NFL season is here, and FanDuel has an offer you don't want to miss. And right now, new customers can bet just $5, and then you get $300 in bonus bets if that $5 bet wins. That's right. Pick a bet, put down $5, and if it hits, you'll unlock $300 in bonus bets to use across the app. So what are you waiting for? Visit FanDuel.com to download the FanDuel app today and get started with that $5 bet that if it wins, $300 in bonus bets comes your way. All right, before we get to the subtext, people, I'll throw that question out to you, sir. Is number 6 going up to the rafters?
That's so difficult to answer, honestly, because I feel like if Bork's up there, then EJ's got to be up there.
It's tough to have that barometer be Ray Bork because everybody's going, and I say that,
and not everybody, right? But I mean, having Bork up there just makes me feel like EJ's got to be able to make it up. I think the Avs need a Ring of Fame type of thing, like the Broncos have, because this is exactly the type of player that needs to be in the Ring of Fame if his number shouldn't be retired. And I'm really on the fence with the number retired. I know I've said it earlier. I think his will, because there isn't a Ring of Fame. And if there's anybody that deserves it for everything we just laid out, it's definitely EJ.
Mm-hmm.
But like,
so
it's really
you lean
hard.
towards no. You lean towards not
I
retiring?
lean towards yes, because they don't have the Ring
Okay.
of Fame, because they don't have like
Okay.
their own honor. If they had that, then I would say, unfortunately, no. He's going to go Ring of Fame, a la the many players in like Broncos. I think Yankees do something similar too, where they've got 3 tiers even. It's
Yeah.
like, I think something like that would be perfect for situations like this because it doesn't exist. I want to see that number in the rafters. I think he deserves it based on what the Avs have available to honor a player who did everything
Right.
that he could.
Yeah, maybe because this is just so fresh, and because he just announced it today. I would say even if they did have a Ring of Fame, I'm retiring it.
Yeah.
I am putting him up there. For me, it's different for retiring numbers because and I've said this before, it's not about if that player was the best.
Correct.
It's about like what that player meant to the franchise. It's not like a Hall of Fame thing. Erik Johnson's not going to the Hall of Fame. That's fine.
Nope.
But what he meant to this franchise and what he meant to the fans is jersey number retirable in my point of view.
I can definitely see that for sure.
Yeah. So I think it happens. I think I do. He had, where was he? I mean, he's not, and that's the thing. Like you go through like the career leaders and all of the necessary stats and stuff like that. He's not going to be anywhere on there,
Nope.
with the exception of games played. So overall, including the Nordiques, he is 8th. He is 6 games behind Peter Stastny. He's played 731 games played. But Joe Sakic's on there, who has a combination between those two teams. Yep. Michel Goulet is on there, and I think that's it, and Stastny. So there's 3 guys ahead of him, which played, well, Sakic's the only one that played on both.
Yep.
So he either way, he's played a ton of games for this franchise. So I do, man. I think they do this. I'm not going to say it's something like that happens this year. It might be one of those things that happens in a couple of years from now.
Yep.
But because we'll see what happens. Like, who knows what he's going to do next? Like, he could go to altitude. He's got a heck of a personality, so he would be great on the air. He did the one game with Connor. I think it was the game at Denver University where it was like the DU alumni game versus
the alumni game. Yep.
He called that game with Connor, so he might have to fine tune his craft, but if he does, he could be good at that. So we'll see what he does next. But I would love for him to hang around this franchise because he's beloved.
Well, and get Connor somebody in the booth, for goodness sakes. That man's talking to himself way too much.
I think he likes doing that, though.
I think he does too. No, I think he really leans into that pretty heavily. But honestly, I think EJ would do really well in there with Connor, doing the color, doing all those things. So real excited to see what he does next.
So
super thrilled for him. It's awesome career. Couldn't be happier. And I think in the rafters is where he will be, especially given the fact that that's like the honor that they can give him.
Right.
You have to do it because it's what you have available.
That's a good point.
And he needs it. He needs some kind of honor based on what he was for the franchise.
He'd be so appreciative of it, obviously. So yeah.
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
Let's check in with subtext. They had some things to say. Lisa says, I think EJ meant a lot in the locker room. I remember watching the ceremony for his 1000th game and the interview he did with Kyle Keefe. It's so clear his heart is with the Avs. True Avs icon. Retire his number and find a spot in Ball Arena. Hang that picture of him in bed with the cup.
See, Lisa, same page. That picture is chef's kiss.
It's great. Let's see. Katie says, I'd love to see EJ in the broadcasting booth, maybe on altitude with the Avalanche. And she included a picture. This looks like one that she took, and cool. It's Taves and EJ. I'll show it to you in the booth.
Oh, nice. That's awesome.
Maybe she took that. I don't know. I don't know if she grabbed that from somewhere or if she didn't say if she took that, but kudos to you if you took that picture. Good one.
Yep.
Nice
and I
picture.
agree. Get him in the booth. I think he'd
Yeah.
do great.
Adam says definitely going to miss seeing the Condor out on the ice, but I'll be excited to see his number going to the rafters soon. There's another one. I think it's going up to the rafters.
Yep.
He was an absolute legend for the Avalanche. He went through hell and back to help bring the cup back to Denver, and I hope they can find some kind of organizational role for him beyond going out there and scraping the ice. Man, we're on the same page with these guys. Congrats
Subtext
on the
crew
retirement.
and us.
What's that?
I said subtext crew and us. We are in sync.
That's why
on
there
this.
are people. That's why there are people. This is nice. Shorzy says EJ gave my daughter a fist bump on an Avs versus Cap game. She was like 5 years old at the time. She's now and now 6 years later, she still remembers that. Thanks,
awesome.
EJ, for being a solid role model.
Love it.
Give it to the kids, man.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Like core memories Erik Johnson is creating here. That is awesome.
That's the kind of memory too that turns somebody into either a lifelong fan or even an athlete style in that sport, right? Like, remember the time that he did this for me, and then also look at the way he went about his career and played the game. Like that creates that for sure. So that's a really cool memory.
Love
awesome.
That.
Thanks for sharing that, Shorzy.
Love that. Christina says, I remember being there for his first game back after being traded to Buffalo. All of Ball Arena was cheering for him. The only other person who has gotten an ovation like that in my time as a fan is Landeskog. So if that tells you anything about what he means to the fans and the team, I really hope he stays affiliated with the organization somehow in the future. I also really hope they do a tribute of some kind at the home opener. He's earned it. Fly, Condor, fly. I don't know about the home opener. That's pretty quick. I mean, he's just announcing it now and then. I mean, you'd want to do it right.
Yeah.
So you don't want to just throw something together in a week and then, although I guess you maybe could, but we'll see. We'll see. It is going to be interesting to see how long it takes to do something for him.
It's going to be quick. They're going to acknowledge it pretty quick, I think.
Yeah. Mayor Charles says, I just hope he stays with the organization somehow. He is, in all caps, the man. We'll see if he wants to do that. I mean, whether it's altitude or some office job, but he doesn't seem like a suit guy to me. Like,
no,
like a scout or something like that. I don't see him doing that, but
intermission reports, I think he'd be great
on the
for.
air.
I think he'd do that kind of stuff so well.
Yep.
Post-game reports.
Yeah.
That stuff would work perfect.
And then finally, Vargar says, EJ's always been the symbol of perseverance, determination through hardships to victory. He battled injuries and restructured his game to succeed. His relationship with Landy was special. Seeing Gabe hand EJ the cup was a beautiful moment. I'm glad he finished his career in Denver. I'd hire EJ as the director of player development today. The Avs need help actually developing players drafted outside the top 10. I wouldn't be against that.
I'm not opposed either.
I think he could help out there somewhere. Yeah.
If that's the job he'd want. He would do well. He'd also do well in the broadcast booth. So it'd be really interesting to see.
I'm just picturing him as like a coach in any capacity. And then player development, I could just see him like just goofing around with like these prospects the entire time and like, all right, practice is over. Let's go get a beer. You know what I mean? Like
it would be a lot. There'd definitely be a lot of that.
So it was a really fun, entertaining career, and it was nice to be front row seat for all of it. And now maybe we still will be if he decides to do some on the air stuff. So thank you, EJ, for all the great memories, and they're going to live on forever. Especially the fact that you won that cup. That will that's seared in Avalanche minds forever. So,
and
great
anytime
career.
You want to start a chorus of all the small things for the entire city of Denver again, we're right behind you.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So it was fun while it lasted. So, all right. Let's get one more break in here. We're going to talk about what we watched of this Avalanche Vegas Golden Knights game, of which now the Avalanche are losing this game 2-1 with about 4 minutes to go.
Yep.
So let's get a break in and we'll discuss what we saw in the first couple periods. We'll do that next. All right, so this game probably be wrapping up. Well, unless the Avs tie it here and they go into an overtime session. But we watched 2 full periods of this. A huge difference between the players on the ice in yesterday's game or 2 days ago game. That now, whenever you're listening to
No,
this,
yeah,
and this one, because this was like your team essentially, more or less.
a lot of it.
A lot of it was. And wow, is there a difference?
I
Like
know.
this genuinely felt like the first actual live regular season hockey game to me. And remember how we talked about like when do you get excited?
Yeah,
This a couple times I forgot this was a preseason game. Like sure, are they going? I mean, a lot of guys were going full speed. There were moments where you'd see someone like Makar not go, 110 miles an hour. Same thing with Nathan McKinnon. But
yeah.
when they were in transitions and when they had heads of steam, like they were committing. They were like, let's go all in. Like let's treat this as a regular season game. But
Mhm.
I thought it was a fun, entertaining game to watch. Took a little bit to get going. But once they did, it was back and forth. Those were
Yep.
good.
Awesome. Anytime you see Landeskog score, just makes me
Yes.
happy.
Yes.
So now he's done it in the AHL, then he did it in the postseason. Now he's done it in the preseason. Now it's time. Let's just get right into this. Let's get straight to the regular season games, and then he'll do it in the postseason again. Um, and I thought that goal was a pretty solid goal.
Nice goal.
Honestly, his shot looked like he was maybe going 50% for the shot itself because that looked as easy of a shot. Like he made everything about that just look so nonchalant, perfectly aimed. I'm just here. I can throw the shot on net. It's going to go in. I'm great at hockey. I mean, that's just what that looked like.
Right.
So loved that for sure. I've been pretty impressed with Bardakov through this game as well. I
Yeah.
think the guy's got a motor. He is going nonstop. And so it's pretty easy to see why Bednar is so infatuated with him because he really does seem to do things really well. Took that hit into the boards, which I wasn't a huge fan
Scared.
of, but got up, got back out to start the period, and everything
That
seems to
was
be okay.
yeah, he took a nasty hit. Natchez took a shot. I think it was in the power play. I think it was a Cale Makar
Yeah,
shot
he
that
took
got
a
him
Cale
like
Makar like
right in
off
the
the ankle.
leg.
Yeah,
Yeah, and Brock Nelson took a hit from a
and
puck.
Lecky got tripped into the boards.
Did he? Did I must have missed
Yeah,
that? I didn't remember
that
that one.
was the
But
second power play for the
I'm
Avs.
like, guys, this is fun, but let's kind of and stuff like what like Nations can't like
No,
he's in
that
a position, you know what I mean, like all that stuff. But the hit on Bardakov, like I didn't really like that one all that much.
wasn't a fan of that. I
No,
liked a bunch of the Avs guys going in and immediately chirping, and it kind of made a little bit bigger of a deal about it. Nothing went too far. Not
yeah,
surprised because
yeah,
nobody really wants to get injured. But I did like the go out there and tell them like, no, this is not how this is going to go down. You
right,
don't do that.
yeah. Um, you can tell this top six is going to be a fit for other teams.
Oh, they're going to be so
They're
good.
going to be right. They're like they had moments of good moments. There was one like, just nice little like bumper pass from Nelson to Nichushkin, who like rang it off the post.
Hmm.
Just a really nice, and that's what Brock Nelson can do. Like really tight quarters, and he found a way to get it to Nichushkin for a really solid shot on goal. The first line, that's your speed line. Like we were talking about who's going to be on that top line. Well, the second line was where I thought they were going to go, which was your playoff line
Hmm.
with Gabe, Nelson, and Val. And I thought, they had moments where they really looked good. The top line, I thought Martin Nations had a tough first period.
Yeah.
He had some turnovers. He just was fighting the puck. But I thought he had a good second period. And, you saw what that line can do. And I think that is going to cause fits because that's two lines coming at you in two different ways, really. That is going to be a tough matchup for opponents this year. So I'm sure there's going to be people out there who are, I don't want to say nitpicking, but harping on the things that, guys like me, like Martin Natius, didn't do right. Maybe whiffing on a almost like a wide open net that he had. It's preseason. People, I'm not making excuses for him. I'm just saying, like, you got to work the bugs out. You got to work the kinks out. You got to get back to game speed. Once all that happens, which shouldn't take very long, watch out, because this is the second game he's played in the preseason, the first with his normal line mates and normal teammates. So let's give him a little bit of a reprieve here.
I think he looked okay. I put this out on Twitter as a joke to a particular person who has been telling me all the time how much of a ghost he is. So I said, man, this guy just disappears in the preseason, which, hope they know it was all in good jest. It's all in good fun. But I agree. I think he had a little bit of a rough start. He's starting to look a little bit better. He did miss a wide open net, which you'd like to see him hit, but it's the preseason. The Avs also found a way to go 0 for 2 on the power play again, and are still 0 for the preseason.
Did they get any more?
Nope.
No, they didn't. Yeah, and they lost, by the way. It just went final 2-1. So
I mean, is what
perfect
it is.
Preseason's over.
Exactly. Dang.
Yeah.
Well, now pack it all in.
I know.
Wasted potential. No, I really do think the power play looked better. I was happy with how it looked mostly. They even got a lot more shots off on that second power play. The first one I thought was a lot of passing and trying to set up. The second one, it was pass, shoot, pass, shoot, pass, shoot. And like, I really appreciated what they were doing there. Collapsing on those rebounds, it looked like to me too. They were getting that net front instead of trying to keep it all perimeter. So that makes me feel a lot better about the power play going into the regular season. And I put this out there too. I hope they don't score a power play goal in the preseason now. I want it to they're saving them all for the regular season. You're not using up all of your power play power here before it matters. You're going to find your stride and nail them all in the regular season. Yep.
All right. I won't be against that, because then everyone will be having having that talking point of like, oh no, what's wrong with the Avalanche power play, and give them like a false sense of security that the Avalanche can't do anything with power play, and then game one against the Kings, bam.
Oh, done. You know what?
Yeah,
that is Dave Hackstall's brilliant plan.
Of course it is.
That is exactly what the plan is.
We figured it out.
He's lured the entire league into a false sense of security so he can just go take him over.
Done. I just hope nobody from the Los Angeles King fan base listens to this podcast to tip their players off.
Well,
because then we're screwed.
Yeah. Well, no, actually, we're still fine because they still don't know what the power play is going to be. Now, though, they're going to be even more scared of it. Be like, oh man, that Zach and Chris guys, they're really onto something. We're shaking in our boots over here.
It's all part of the devious plan that the Avalanche are putting forward right now. I love it. But it would be nice to see a power play goal.
It so would.
So they lose this one, whatever. But it was fun to watch some up and down hockey and some energetic hockey. So that's just wetting the palate a little bit of what we're gonna have. And
the last thing I'll put on it too is because I don't feel like the top line guys, all the top guys, were going 100%, like you said, through the entire night. It is crazy to me to watch Cale Makar go out there. In some aspects, look kind of like he's not trying to go 110 miles an hour, like you said, and still just be so much better than anybody playing around him. God, that guy's special to watch.
Definitely. And I'm still curious to see what they do with Brindley. Because
he looked good again.
He just fits.
He does.
He fits well with this team. So we'll see what happens there. We'll get answers pretty soon. So
yep.
All right. That is going to wrap it up for today. So thank you everybody for tuning in and making it your first listen of the day. Of course, that is always appreciated. We'll be back tomorrow. Anything else going on in Avalanche world, we'll be talking about that on tomorrow's episode. So make sure to tune in to that one. He's Mr. Zach Pearson. I am Chris Maselli. This is the Locked On Avalanche podcast, and we'll see you guys tomorrow, where, of course, you will have made it through another 24 hours. We're or Sidney Crosby is that much closer to being with the Colorado Avalanche?